August 22nd, 2023 meeting of the Public Safety Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Burgess. Mr. Burgess is present. Mr. Colby.
Present. Present.
Legislator Colby, you had to turn your camera on. I gotcha. Legislator Colby is present. Mr. Delahanty. Mr. Delahanty is present. Ms. Delvecchio Hoffman. Delvecchio Hoffman is present. Chairman Dondorfer.
Here.
Chairman Dondorfer is present. Ms. Hugh Smith. Hugh Smith is present. Mr. Milne. Mr. Milne is present. Mr. Morris.
Here.
Mr. Morris is present. Ms. Vecchio. Ms. Vecchio is present.
Is there anyone signed up for the public forum?
There is. We have two speakers. I will call you up one by one. You have 2 minutes to address the committee. When you hear the timer beep, if you can kindly conclude your remarks and leave out the back door. First speaker we have signed up is Jim Van Brederode.
Good evening. My name is Jim Van Brederode, retired law enforcement here in Monroe County. First of all, I want to thank the Monroe County Legislature. You are the only legislative body here in Monroe County that is willing to listen to public safety issues and actually address them. It has been duly noted, all the things that you have done with this tsunami of crime that we are facing. There's absolutely no response from the state level legislatures and of course, city council. Doesn't seem too interested either. So I do appreciate everything that has been done. And trust me, we are well aware of what you guys are doing, citizens. So we appreciate that. But I'm here for opioids tonight. This is August, which is National Opioid Awareness Month. And it's August. We're 8 months into the year. And we've been struggling here in Monroe County for years with our medical examiner's office and getting those tox reports done in a timely manner. Basically, we don't have the actual results for 2022, and we're into August. And I think last year it took till January, a year to get that done. I just don't. I think we can do a better job at getting those tox reports done. We have some opioid money, I think, that came in from the big farm settlements. In the past, we did contract with NMS Labs in Pennsylvania 1 year. Again, after I came to complain a lot, and there was a significant reduction in the caseload when we did offsite some of that tox work. And again, I'm just here to ring the bell. I come almost every August to say something about it. And it was the awful administration, and it's the Bell administration. It's not about politics. It's about, we got to get these reports done. Families deserve them. Funeral homes deserve them. And there's no reason why we can't do a better job. We have the money. I just think we got to outsource a lot of those non-criminal cases, and we can get those results done. So that's why I'm here. Thank you very much for your time. And again, I appreciate everything that this county ledge is trying to do with public safety. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Marcus Seawood.
Hello, good evening. My name is Marcus C. Williams. I just ran over here because I was busy doing some cleaning and I'm a little bit dirty right now, and my hands are dirty and my face is dirty and my hair is dirty. But you know what else is dirty? Our county. Our county is filthy with crime. Our county is filthy with drugs, and the drug flow has not stopped and has not been stemmed, continuing to flow through our county. I would like you guys to put a very, very precise microscopic focus on the drugs that are continuing to be trafficked into our community. It's very interesting to me that we just let in a whole bunch of illegal aliens, and we decided that we wanted to let them have a safe place to be. But our current city is under a state of emergency for crime and violence. Now, that doesn't sound like we really want them to be safe or secure. And how much more so all of our citizens. If we do not focus on things like the drug flow into our city, things will continue to get worse. That is where a lot of the funding for all of these illegal firearms and stuff like that is coming from. That's where a lot of the funding for these gang activities is coming from. I know they've got the ATF and other organizations out there that are looking into that, but I'd like to make sure that we actually put a very specific look into that. If you guys would please, that is my big ask from you. But I would also ask for more advocacy on pushing for bill reform and raise the age laws to be amended. I'm not asking for you guys to flip them all over and throw them all out. I'm asking them to be amended where we see that there are issues that are continuing ongoing. My assembly district is 137, and that's got the most overdoses and the most violent crimes in it throughout the whole county. And we need your help. I would appreciate whatever you can do, whatever you're willing to do, and please hold your other chamber members accountable and to task. Our community and our county needs your help. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Is there anyone present who is not signed up to speak who would like to address the committee at this time? Seeing none, the next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have the July 25th, 2023 meeting minutes before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. Next item on the agenda is new business. Mr. Clerk.
Referral number 23-0261, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services for implementation of components of an action plan to address racial and ethnic disparities in the youth justice system.
Moved by legislator Milne, seconded by legislator Colby. Is there any discussion on this? Oh, I'm sorry. Legislator Morris, my apologies. I got the cow on my mind.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the administration, can you please provide a description of the plan, if you will? In this referral, it states Monroe County Office of Probation and Community Corrections has developed a plan whose objectives are, et cetera. Could you explain the plan a little bit?
Christine Durante from Probation, through the chair. The plan involves adding on to our current diversion review committee that we established as a result of looking at our disproportionate minority youth that have contact with the juvenile justice system. And this will give a juvenile perspective to that referral program. So every case that comes through the diversion program at Monroe County has to go through the diversion review committee before it can be sent on to the juvenile prosecutor's office. We are going to do a blind presentation and get youth voice as to how they think that cases could have been better dealt with prior to going to the juvenile prosecutor's office. Our effort is, what we're trying to do is decrease the number of youth of color in our system, or moving further in our system. Another component of that is that some youth that have been successful in diversion will also participate in our current juvenile justice seminar that we hold monthly for kids that have been arrested to come in and learn about the juvenile justice system.
Thank you very much. I yield the floor.
Is there any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral number 23-0267, extension of provisions of section 89P of the New York State Retirement and Social Security Law to members employed as deputy sheriff civil in the county of Monroe.
Move it.
Moved by legislator Morris, seconded by legislator Delahanty. Is there any discussion on this?
Through you to the administration, what are the current classifications and service retirement requirements for deputy sheriff civil?
Paul Simonelli from the Sheriff's Office, through the chair. Could you just restate the question? I want to make sure
So deputy sheriff civil, this is new, what has been added? Or is this what it was previous, but the classifications or requirements for retirement changed as part of that legislation?
the change was through the chair. The change was for the minimum requirements for retirement. Prior to this legislation, the individuals serving as deputy sheriff, civil deputies were not in either the 20-year or the 25-year retirement program. So they were in a similar program that unsworn 30-55 program. And considering that they have all the same duties, responsibilities, they're certified as police officers in New York State. We've been trying for quite a while to get them to the 25-year retirement.
Thank you for that response. No further questions.
Is there any other discussion?
Chair, to the administration, how many are in the Civil Bureau and how many will be eligible to retire from this, for this?
Through the chair, currently there are 12 members, sworn members in the Civil Bureau. And I believe this legislation will immediately affect just one or possibly two at the most.
Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral number 23-0268, amend the 2023 to 2028 capital improvement program and the 2023 capital budget to add a project entitled CDC Annex Mod B renovation and authorize financing for the project.
Moved by legislator Delahanty, seconded by legislator Milne. Is there any questions? Legislator Delahanty, you have the floor.
The chair, does the administration feel that this expanded capacity will meet our need?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, we do. And if you'd like, I could take a minute to sort of tell you what our thinking is here. Originally, the original building in Rush, we had room for 35 individuals to be held there. With the changes to the raise the age, we saw a need for increased capacity. We opened up the annex at the old correctional facility in Brighton. We had approval from OCFS for what we refer to as the annex, where we had another 8 beds approved there, which got us up to 39. Last year, it was somewhat well documented with the increase in activities. That wasn't big enough. And there were a couple of well publicized incidents where kids were picked up and police didn't have any place to put them right away. So there were a couple of high profile incidents where kids were in cars for long periods of time, or they were in conference rooms that weren't really designed to hold them for that period. We had a change in leadership at the CDC towards the end of last year. There's been a very significant turnaround in terms of the operation of the facility. We've had a very significant turnaround in terms of being able to staff the facility to a point where we have a much higher retention rate and staff there. But even with that, we were close in terms of capacity there. And there were a couple times where we were pushing up against the limit of that. The state has given us approval over the last few months to allow us to have 8 more beds there, 3 more at the original CDC in Rush, and 5 beds at the annex for a total capacity of 47 beds. One issue that we're looking to address with this is those last 8 beds, the 3 in Rush and the 5 at the annex, are dormitory style beds, which are not ideal for the people in at the CDC or the annex, and then also our staff too. There are security issues, safety issues with that. We do have waivers from the state that allow us to have that approval. But what we're looking at with this is to create more individual rooms there. And as a part of the design of what we're looking at, we're going to be picking up 2 more beds with that. And then the idea would be we would eliminate the dormitory style bed. So that would get us up to 49, which that will take us through, in our opinion, comfortably through the end of 2024, when we anticipate having the new facility at the Rush campus built there, which the capacity for that is 58, I'm sorry, 58 there. And also one other factor involved in this too is some of the beds at the CDC and Rush will come offline for a brief period of time during the construction process. So that's another factor that's going into this. And one thing I will also add to this that might answer a question that would be coming up is the standard formula for this is the state reimburses 49% of the cost of the project. And we've had conversations with the governor's office where we have requested, we've not been promised or guaranteed, but we've requested that they actually help or that they actually pay the entire bill for this, for the 100% cost, which again, we don't have a commitment for that, but we're hopeful that there might be additional payments on that, but we feel as though this is a necessary project for safety of the individuals in the facility, our staff, and also anticipating a need that we're going to have as we get further into the construction of the new facility down the road.
Thank you.
Legislator Millen, you have the floor.
To the administration, and just for clarification, sir, the moving away from dormitory style bedding, beds to the individual rooms is really more of a situation of safety for the individuals and those working there. And then also the second part of that question, I just wanted that confirmation. And then second part of that question is just to reconfirm, the state really determines the limits of the size and the number of beds, correct?
Yes, through the chair to both of those.
Thank you. I yield the floor.
Is there any other discussion? Legislator Hugh Smith, you have the floor.
I apologize, but there's been a lot of numbers. Up to 58.
Through you, Mr. Chair, right now, the original Rush facility is 31. Then we have the 3 additional beds that are the dormitory style beds. We're going up to 58, but then what will happen is the annex will close with that. So yes, it's right that we're going from 34 at Rush to 58, but then also those other beds will come offline once the new Rush facility is built. So it would go from 49 with these beds to 58.
And thank you. By 2 or in?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Right now, there are 8 beds at the annex, and then there are 5 that are dormitory style beds at the annex. So there's a total of 13 right now. Right, yeah.
5 dormitory style.
Okay. Through you, Mr. Chair. Right now, we have a waiver from the state for the 8 dormitory style beds at both places. What we're looking for is when the new beds are built at the annex, that will be an increase to our license, and then the waiver will go away. So those combined 8 beds will go offline, and then the 10 beds will be added to our license at the annex.
Is there any other discussion? Being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral number 23-0272, enact a local law amending chapter 384 entitled Pawnbrokers, Secondhand Dealers, and Jewelry and Coin Exchange Dealers as a matter of importance.
Moved by legislator Milne, seconded by legislator Morris. Is there any discussion on this? I have a question. I'd just like some clarification from the administration. The main amendment includes 3 new condition items per day. That is correct? Correct? 3 new items per day?
Mr. Chairman, the way the legislation is written, it would be 3 new items, new inbox items of a like kind per individual per year at a dealer. So if there were new items, different kinds, so if a person went in with 7 Ryobi 14-volt saws in the box, that's what this legislation is to stop. If a person went in with three of those, they could sell those, and if they came in with any other item other than that, they could sell those items. So it's 3 like items per person per year.
Per year. So is there, does that mean they can't go to another pawn shop or secondhand dealership and do the same thing? Or is this legislation stopping them from doing that as well?
The way my reading of it, and I guess the county attorney through could disagree, but the way I understand it right now is that they could go to another secondhand licensed shop.
Bring Watt, do you concur with that, or?
Through the chair, the purpose of this legislation is to identify a specific loophole identified by the Monroe County Sheriff's Office in their enforcement of the existing pawnbroker and secondhand dealer law. In addition to the provisions here of limiting the dealer themselves, if there is someone who is selling a number of items between dealers, law enforcement has access to their sale records and would be able to track that on a law enforcement side.
Okay, so adding it to leads online, if I go to Pawn Shop A, Pawn Shop B, is it their responsibility to look up that individual on the lead system and see if they've already pawned 3 items?
So, Mr. Chairman, once again, stating the purpose of the legislation is to gain compliance from individual shops, individual shop owners, those few that don't comply with how they should be doing business right now. Law enforcement does have the capability through the system to identify individuals that are going between different shops. But the main purpose of this legislation is to get compliance from the shop owners and also as a deterrent to slow down the theft, sale, purchase of drugs, and overdose cycle.
Okay,
So I would say in a perfect world, it would be wonderful to have the ability to create some limitation, universal limitation, but this is the next step in the right direction.
is there any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Is that the last one? Are there any other matters to come before this committee? There being no other matters, the August 22nd, 2023 meeting of the Public Safety Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Public Safety Committee will be held on Tuesday, September 26th, 2023 at 5:30 PM.